guys, got a bit of an unusual video for you here, because as you can see, for once, you can see my right hand roughly where it should be, near the sound hole. Admittedly, it should be more or less back there, but hey, that's still good for us, isn't it? It's normally up the neck. And I thought I'd do something seasonal, so this is the very sweet melody from the movie Casper. I don't know about you guys, but this used to make me cry. Actually, I think it still makes me cry when his wife comes through the window. Spoiler alert! I felt it was worthy of us playing it, because it's just so lovely. Lots of opportunities for enhancing skills, shall we say, and definitely working on strength, because you will be doing a little bit of a barré when we get down to third. I've chosen this guitar because I thought at least then you can see the dots. This is 12. And we will just quickly talk about the right hand, because you know me guys, I use my Pima fingers, so thumb takes care of my bass notes, my E, A and my D string. My G string is played by my index finger, and then we have middle on the B and then ring on the E. And I'm resting, planting with the little finger like that, because I find that so much easier. If I don't have that, I get a little bit lost. So I fully recommend a good plant when you're finger picking. Okay, so one more note before we begin. There's not too many, don't worry. I want you to try and use separate fingers for this, okay? So kind of in this formation, no matter where you end up, even if you end up on third, same kind of formation, so we don't want to be sliding too much. There is a little bit of an exception where we're going to be barring and using our little finger to just play these two notes, but that's simply so this one rings out. But I'm getting ahead of myself, so let's not worry about that just yet. Your rhythms are nice and friendly. You've got tea, coffee, lots and lots of tea and coffee, which is why I thought, oh, this is a nice friendly one in terms of rhythm reading. It is just all about the skills of the left hand. So without further ado, let's get into it. So your first note, your first two notes I should say, you're going to play together. You might notice, by the way, that I do a little bit of a wiggle here and there. I just can't help myself. It's a bit of vibrato. Maybe I'll talk to you about that as well. Skip ahead if you don't want to know about this. But I know a lot of people try and do it in their fingertip like that. Now I find that exhausting. I can't keep it up. So when I do it, I'm kind of, as you can see, it's kind of like the pressure is going towards my face as my finger is pulling down. My thumb's not really doing too much. It's just there so that I don't fall off the neck, to be honest. It's not squeezing overly. Nothing is squeezing that much, to be honest. It's more of a drag I do, and it's just a quick drag. Like that. So if anybody's struggling with vibrato, I hope that helps. So if you see me do it and you don't want to do it, just ignore it. Just go, ah, she's just off on one again, that's fine. Just play 5 normally. Let's start again. So we've got 5 and we've got an A string with the option of vibrato. We're going to play that with our index finger and over there with our middle finger, of course. And then we're stretching up with our little finger to 8th fret, okay? I quite like 8 for the sake of knowing this is 7 because of the dot, so I know I can find 8 quite easily with my little finger. If I did it with my ring finger, it's uncomfortable. I can do it, but it's a little bit uncomfortable. So this way I know without looking at my left hand exactly where I am, which is why I'm kind of suggesting, guys, that you train yourselves up to do this, essentially, because your aim is to get your eyes off of your left hand, off of your right hand, so that you can look at the sheet and read it. Let's carry on. So you're going to have a T, coffee, and can you see it's just between my middle and my ring finger there. So if I put them right there, it's just those guys, nothing too special. It might feel a little bit weird if you're not used to Pima fingers, but for the sake of me, if I were to switch it up, I'll get very, very lost later on down the line. So I like to keep things as simple as possible for my brain. So that first bar becomes fairly simple in terms of rhythm and in terms of reading. It's all about this, isn't it, really? And if this is a bit too much for you as a stretch, then I hate to say it, this might not be the tune for you. However, you could sort of treat it like a seesaw and maybe take the pressure off like that. So long as you keep this string ringing. But your aim, always in life, your aim is to try and improve your hand span. You want to try and get that as comfy as possible. Okay, so shall we try this bar together? So I will count you in 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and we'll go between it. Try and keep this one down if you can. If you have to seesaw, that's alright, just you know, be mindful that you are going to be working towards leaving that 5 down and getting to the 8. Okay? Don't forget your bass note. Here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then let's do it with tea and coffee. I'll still count you in the same way. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and tea, coffee, tea, coffee. Lovely jubbly. Okay, and then as you can see, we've got a similar sort of movement in the next bar, but we're moving more. So we're starting with a coffee, coffee, and then we're going to use these other fingers. So a little bit more squeezing takes place here. Not too much though, I don't want you to hurt yourself, okay? You've got enough going on. So I'll just walk you through this bar. You're going to have a coffee, little finger, ring finger for the 7, index for the 5. Can you see I didn't move my finger, I just leaned back and squeezed so I could get that 5. So there was no movement there between the beginning 5 of this bar and that one. I just squeeze. Squeeze again. Alright, let's do this again nice and slow. I just want you to get an idea of what's going on with these walking fingers. So we're going index, little finger, ring, squeezing for index, little finger, index, squeeze, ring, little finger. Let's do that one more time together. Little finger, ring, index, little, index, ring, little. Okay? And as before, if you don't get on with the squeezing, you can move it. You just risk the possibility, ironically, of a ghost note. I'll try and make it a bit more obvious. So you might ping like that. You never know. You might not. You might be brilliant at the seesaw. So who knows? But for me, I'm just going to squeeze. Let's see if we can do this bar together then. So nice and steady. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Alright, and then coffee, coffee all the way. Count you in the same way. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and coffee, 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 coffee. Super duper. Alright, and then let's rewind us back to bar 1 and see if we can get into bar 2. So beginning of the line. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Okay, and then tea and coffee. We're doing well, guys, we're doing well. Oh, and if you need to, by all means, have a little break, massage the wrist. If you feel it's getting a little bit tense in here, just have a little moment, okay? Nothing wrong with that, to have a little moment of self-love. Okay, one more time, tea and coffee, all through the line. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and tea. Coffee, tea. Coffee, 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 coffee. Super duper. Alright, next line then, okay? Don't worry too much if this is a little bit fiddly for the time being. Remember, you can always slow down this video. Click the cog, playback settings, 75 is your best friend, alright? But we're going to move on onto line 2. So this thumb is jumping up to the E string, but we're not moving this finger still. This finger is still on that 5. So now instead of being between 5 and 8, we're between 5 and 7. So it's index and ring finger. So it's a fairly friendly bar. Shall we see if we can do it already together? Let's push ourselves, shall we? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Get the gist? Let's try it with tea and coffee. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and tea, coffee, tea, coffee. You'll love this next bar. It is just, I love it. Coffee, coffee, tea, tea. So a really nice line, this one. So let's try the next bar and then we'll see if we can do the entire line, because it's not too bad. So with numbers, this is bar 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So just a reminder, that little crotchet rest, quarter note rest at the end, the thing that looks like a lightning bolt, it's just worth 1, okay? Which is why we're counting 4 and, because by going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, we are counting quavers or eighth notes. So remember, 2 eighth notes or quavers equal a crotchet or quarter note. Hope that made sense. All right. Because that's such a nice bar, I reckon we can probably do this entire line. So let's come back to bar 3 and let's just remind ourselves it's no longer the little finger, we're just focusing on going between 5 with the index and the ring finger on 7 on the E string. So let's make sure the thumb's in the right place and we'll do the entire line. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and let's do it with tea and coffee as well. Here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and tea, coffee, tea, coffee, 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 tea, tea. Super. And then as you can see at the end of this line we've got double dots. Double dots mean repeat, and it's the end of a bracket, so you're looking for the beginning of the bracket. So you might not have noticed it, but in bar 1 was the beginning, so then you would go back to the beginning and go through that again. And then do this line again. And don't worry, we will do that together at the end. But for the time being, I'm going to move you on because I kind of consider those top 2 lines as the friendly part. I know this is a little bit fiddly, but you can always pause the video and take a moment to just get your fingers around that. Or you could completely pause the video and come back to it in a couple weeks, or a week, or however long it takes just to get those first 2 lines in your head. But they're fairly straightforward, shall we say. So this next section takes a little bit more thought. So we're going down 3 and 5, so 3 over there with our index, 5 with our ring. And we're going to end up leaning back in a minute in bar 6, but not in bar 5. In bar 5, we're fairly loosey-goosey. Can you see my index is not flat, it's not barring. There's lots of space, okay? Keep space. If you have to move your leg or put your strap on, that's fine. Whatever it takes to get some space in there, guys, go for it. And we're going to be looking at pinching with the thumb and the index because this is between our A string and our G string. Our little fingers over there on that 5 on the E. So bar 5 is going to sound like this. Okay, so let's do it together. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Good. And a quick note, rest your wrist while I'm waffling on, by the way. Take it off, give it some love. But a quick note, the reason I'm leaving these bass notes down, by the way, is because I want them to keep ringing. I think that sounds much nicer than if I were to go. It just kind of kills the mood, doesn't it? We want it to sound moody and sweet. So if you can, try and keep these bass notes down. I know it's a bit of a tricky skill if you're not used to doing it, but try and aim to do it. Okay, so let's do bar 5 with numbers. Here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and then we'll try it with tea and coffee as well. 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and tea, coffee, tea, coffee. Good. All right, and then you can kind of see in the next bar, it looks like we're not moving, and we're sort of right. We are still 3/5, we are still little finger over here, but to get the 3, you're going to just lean back. So we went from being nice and spacious here, and then we're going to lean back a little bit. So what I mean by that is, it's a bit like I'm saying to my knuckle, go down, but hand kind of come up a little bit. So if I over egg it, you can kind of see the direction my arm is going. So that's for our 3s in this bit. So we don't have to do it straight away if we don't want to, because the first one we've got covered with this finger, that's fine. But on this one, we want to lean back. We're going to get this 6 with the little finger, slide it back for the 5, lift it, the 3 is held by the index, put it back down on the 5, slide. So this bar is probably the one with the most pressure in it, shall we say. This is the one where you're going to squeeze the most. This is the workout, yeah? So please don't hurt yourselves. Please, please, please. If it's hurting, take your hand off and don't do any more. We could come back to it this evening, this afternoon, tomorrow morning. There is no pressure to be working on this non-stop until you're in agony, okay? Please be mindful of your hands. All right then, let's walk you through that bar again. So just a reminder, you came from having lots of space and we're just leaning back. So I over-egged it a minute ago by doing this to show you the direction, but it's not that severe. It's just a quick little subtle movement of leaning back, yeah? So don't hurt yourself. And then we're just going little finger, bar, and I mean this bit over here, barré. Little finger on 6, slide it back to 5, lift it off, pop it back down, slide it forward. Don't worry if you get a little bit of a on your 3. That just means your bar's not as strong as it could be at the minute, or it could be that the back end of your ring finger is catching the string. So these are all things you can work on in time. So definitely don't obsess over them. You can take it out at another time and just go, oh, okay, maybe if I get the actual tip of that finger, maybe if I bring my elbow round a little bit, there we go, maybe I can get a little bit more. But the reason I'm leaving the ring finger down is because ideally I want that 5 to keep ringing as best as I can. That's our aim. And like I said, this one's the workout, so try not to hold these shapes for too long. And if you do find you have held them too long, just do little hand exercises like this. Just give your hand some love. All right, let's see if we can do this bar together then. Remember, don't be precious, don't get obsessed over any kind of muffled sounds. Just keep moving, even if you get that, okay? Just keep it moving. Because what you're doing at the minute is programming those numbers, those positions into your head and into your left hand. So we're programming right now, we're not refining, okay? So let's give it a go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and we'll do it with coffee. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and coffee, 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 coffee. Good, and I know I said slide, but I'm pretty sure I went plonk, plonk. The point of getting, relax your left hand by the way, but the point of getting a slide, ooh, that one wasn't, I was going to say is to get it smoother, but that one wasn't that smooth, was it? That's a little bit better, you get the idea. So a quick note about if this 5 is just not achievable for you. So maybe it's too painful, it's just not working out. If that's the case, then maybe we just come off it straight away. And in which case, these 5s on the B string will be your ring finger, little. So I'll do that again. Ring, index, ring, little. Okay? So maybe that's our aim instead, and that's fine, it's absolutely fine. Please do tailor these sheets to suit you. Okay, take the hand off, And let's see if we can do this entire line then. So reacquaint yourself, we've got the 3, we've got the 5 on the G, we've got the 5 over there with our little finger. Alright, and let's go slow and steady because the temptation is to whiz through that bar 5 because it's slightly easier. But then by the time we get to bar 6 we might trip up. And we don't want that, so nice and steady. Here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and let's do a tea and coffee. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and tea, coffee, tea, coffee, 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 coffee. Good. And remember what I said, if you get a little a little caught on your 3, just like I did, don't worry about it, carry on, have a good laugh about it. Maybe it's better tomorrow, don't worry. Okay then, so next line, we've just come from this kind of position of a 3 and a 5. We're going to slide up 2, so we've now got 5 and 7. We don't need this one anymore, so he can come off. And we're looking at barring across 5th fret, okay? So this is how it looks if you don't reinforce it. I have to say my hand is very, very uncomfortable with that because it's so used to stacking the middle finger on top. So if you are like me and maybe you find that very uncomfortable and like you just want a little bit more, or maybe this finger just feels like it doesn't know what to do, try just stacking it. So as you can see, it's not like that. It's not completely on top, stacked perfectly and neatly. It's slightly to the side and it just allows it to get a little bit more pressure. Alright, so let's see if we can do this bar together, whether you're doing it like that or whether you're stacking slightly sideways across 5th. So just to reiterate, you don't have to worry about the 5 on the E string because you're holding it down over here with this knuckle, which is the point of the bar. Let's give it a go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and let's do it with tea and coffee. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and tea, coffee, tea, coffee, super duper. Alright, and then as you look into the next bar, can you see we're keeping the same shape here. We're going to have a... and then we're going to pause here because that little symbol just is a fermata and it just means pause. And then we have a 5-7, so we could take off our ring finger, pop it back down. That feels a little awkward for me to keep the bar there, I'm not going to lie. So what I would probably do is go 7-5. Oh, I didn't need my bass note, did I? And then I'd probably move it off. I might even slide it and give a bit of vibrato, just because I quite like that smooth and sweet sound. Something like that. This doesn't have to be to speed because it's the end, if you like. And I must admit to you guys, I put this E on the end of it as well. So on the original piece it goes... and it goes back round again. But I thought, you know, you want it to eventually sound finished. So you have that option. You can go back round again if you want. But at the end I thought it might be nice for you guys to have a finish. So I've ended you with an E. This E is just, if you're familiar with your bar chords, it's just an A-shaped bar on 7th fret, which gives you an E chord. Now I know I confused the heck out of you then, so let's simplify this. So there's the bar across 7, there's the A shape that creates the E chord, E major. And then as you all know, I have funky shapes, so I will double up my bar. I tend to go for a ring finger and lean it back whenever I do the A shape. And then I even give it a little bit of extra love there with the little finger. So I've got more pressure. So I know that my A-shaped bars, bar chords always look funky, but they are functional. So there you go. That's what I tend to do. You can see you don't have to have the entire chord down here. You could just go, maybe you just want to do it like that. And can you see also I'm dragging my thumb? I'm not doing anything like that. And I'm not going all the way down, because if I've only got that much of the chord on, I won't get the whole thing. Which is why, by default, I'm pretty sure I'm going to put the entire chord down. And then just tell my brain, please stop around the G string. Okay? So let's come back. So we've got our bar on 5th, we've got our ring finger on 7 on the G string, and we're going to go coffee, coffee, tea. Bit of a pause, coffee, or a coffee. However you'd like to do that last one. Let's do it with numbers first, shall we? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and I know I slowed down on 3 and it's because I want to make a point that there's a bit of a pause. You can pause more than that, to be fair. I didn't slow down very much. Okay, let's do it with coffee. So let's get my bar back. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and coffee, coffee, tea, coffee, and then last bar, let's do it all together. And I think this will make even more sense if we do the entire line. You'll feel it more, and I want you to feel it. So let's make sure this guy doesn't escape. Let's go back to bar 7. So we're going from bar across 5, ring finger on your G string on 7. Here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and E. And don't worry if your E was after mine, that's fine, it's the ending. It's your interpretation ultimately anyway, so don't worry too much. Should we do that one more time with tea and coffee? Yes, we shall. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and tea and coffee, tea, coffee, 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 tea, coffee, E. I should have said shoe, shouldn't I? Never mind, E works just as well. Good. So we've now gone through all of the lines of music. You know roughly what to do. Let's try and go all the way through with the repeat as well. So remember, the repeat comes at the end of the second line, at the end of bar 4, and you go right back up to bar 1 and you play it again. Let's try it. I'm thinking I'm going to mess up bar 6. But if we go into it thinking we're going to mess it up, then we're going to mess it up. So let's have a sip of water. Let's have some positivity. It's all good. And we're here for fun and for strengthening as well. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Repeat. 1 and So there you go, guys. We've gone all the way through. I'm very proud of us because I know it's not an easy one. It really is quite the exercise in strengthening your wrist. So well done. I think what I'll do right away is record a little bit of backing for you to play to, where I'm going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and that might be quite nice for you to have a go at playing with, okay? So I'm gonna shoot and do that now, but thank you for joining me. If you would like the tab, I will pop it up on my Patreon page. That's www.patreon.com/RosannaBall. Here is the link. All of the tabs on there, I think I started popping them up there on October 2023. So any video I've made since October 2023, the tab will be up there. If you want it, just that tab, and not a whole bunch of tabs, you know, maybe you do just want that, then just get in touch. And send me a donation to my PayPal and I will send it over to you, okay? Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!